right, let's dive into a really fascinating story from the world of competitive bridge. And trust me, this isn't just about playing cards. It's a tale of hidden clues, brilliant strategy, and how two different teams, looking at the exact same puzzle, came up with two totally different answers.
Our story kicks off at a place that sounds just perfect, the Bridge and Biscotti Club. You can just picture it, right? The quiet hum of intense concentration, the smell of coffee, and that tension in the air when a big match is about to get underway.
And this gets us to the central mystery we're going to solve today. You see, in this type of bridge, teams in separate rooms play the exact same hands. So how on earth does one team navigate their way to a win, while another team, holding the identical cards, stumbles right into a trap? Let's figure it out.
Okay, so let's set the stage for this showdown. It's the weekly team competition, and the pressure is definitely on. So, let's meet our players. In one corner, we've got Team 1, the veterans. You know, seasoned players like Robert and Tom. And in the other corner, Team 2, the contenders, with some sharp up-and-comers like Timmy and the expert player, Bartek. You're going to want to remember these names because the choices they make are about to change the entire game.
The game gets going, and it doesn't take long before both tables land in the exact same spot. A tricky bidding situation that's going to test everything they've got. So here's the deal. The player in the south seat opens the bidding with one no trump, which basically tells their partner, hey, I've got a pretty decent balanced hand. But right away, the opponent to their left, west, jumps in with a two hearts bid. This is like them shouting, my suit is hearts, and I'm not going to make this easy for you. And just like that, the game is turned on its head, and all eyes swing over to the north player. It's their move.
And this is the puzzle North is staring at. They've got a ton of diamonds in their hand, which is great, but the rest of the hand, it's pretty weak. A wrong move here could send their team down a path to disaster, but the right move? Well, the right move could unlock a hidden path to victory. So what do you do?
Well, this is what we call the bidding squeeze. That opponent's bid just ate up a huge chunk of valuable bidding space, and now it's incredibly difficult to describe your hand. How do you show a weak hand versus a really strong one? How do you signal whether or not you have a stopper in their suit? You know, that critical card that'll stop them from running a million tricks. All of a sudden, simple communication feels almost impossible. It's got to be one of the most frustrating moments in bridge.
So, how do we fix this mess? Here's our game plan. First, we'll really dig into that squeeze. Then, we'll introduce the beautiful core idea behind Lebensohl. After that, we're going to meet the entire Lebensohl family, learn how to steer clear of the most common pitfalls, and finally, see how this all comes together to become your new bidding superpower.
Okay, so here's the trap, right? Without a special agreement, if you just bid a new suit at the 3 level, that's forcing to game. Now that's great if you have a strong hand, but what if you're weak? What if you just want to compete in your own 5-card suit? How do you tell your partner, hey, let's put the brakes on below game? You can't. That's the squeeze.
Just think about it for a second. Before they interfered, everything was simple, right? You had your Stamen, your Jacoby transfers, you had a whole toolkit ready to go. Now you're scrambling at the 3 level, and you're basically flying blind. But what if I told you there was a way to fight back? There's a hero for this exact situation, a convention designed specifically to reclaim what was stolen from you. It's called Lebensohl, and it's your solution.
So what exactly is Lebensohl? Well, think of it like a secret decoder ring. It's an artificial bidding tool that lets you send coded messages to your partner right under the opponent's nose. It's how you get that bidding space back, how you can tell your partner if you're weak or strong, and, most importantly, how you solve that pesky stopper problem. And here's a little fun fact for you, a bit of bridge trivia. The guy who invented it, his name was actually Ken Lebensohl, with a D. But get this, an article misspelled his name way back when, and Lebensohl, with an H, is the name that stuck. Kind of funny, right? A system designed to create clarity was born from a typo. All right, so how does this thing actually work? Well, the beauty of it is that it's all built around one core idea and a super simple, incredibly powerful phrase, a secret mnemonic, if you will. Okay, this is the engine room of Lebensohl. It all starts with a bid of 2 no trump. Now this is crucial. This 2 no trump bid is completely artificial. It has nothing to do with points or a balanced hand. It is a command. You bid 2 no trump and your partner must, I repeat, must bid 3 clubs. That's it. It's a little puppet bid. This creates a pause, a little moment for you to then explain what you really have.
And here is the secret I was talking about. The whole thing, the entire convention, boils down to these 4 words. Slow shows, direct denies.
That's it. Slow shows, direct denies. Burn that into your brain because it is the key to everything.
So what on earth does that mean? It's simple, really. You now have two ways to bid. There's the slow route. That's when you go through the whole two-node trump relay we just talked about. Taking the slow route shows a stopper in the opponent's suit. Then there's the direct route, where you just bid something at the 3 level right away. That denies a stopper. See? Slow shows, direct denies.
So you see how it all comes together? By using this super simple slow versus direct logic, Lebensohl takes all that chaos and puts it back in order. It's your complete toolkit for fighting back.
And this is why this matters so much. Lebensohl isn't just a one-trick pony. It lets you do so much. You can distinguish between your weak hands and your strong hands. You can safely sign off in a suit when you have nothing. You can invite or even force to game with total clarity. And, of course, the big one. You can show or deny a stopper in their suit, which helps you avoid those absolute nightmare auctions where you land in 3-no trump and immediately go down 5. It's a game changer.
So, there you have it. The secret weapon is now yours. The next time some pesky opponent tries to become the bidding space thief, you'll know exactly what to do. You've got the tool, you've got the secret phrase. So, are you ready to stop them? But wait, there's more. Lebensohl is like a Swiss Army knife for these situations. It doesn't just solve your stopper problem, it also lets you tell your partner exactly how strong your hand is. So the next logical question is, right, how do you actually do that? How do you tell your partner if you're weak or just invitational, or if you have a hand that's absolutely forcing to game? Well, it all comes back to whether you take that slow route or the fast one. Let's break this down. If you have a weak hand, you just want to sign off somewhere safe, you take this slow route. You bid that 2NT, and after partner's 3 clubs, you can bid your suit at the 3 level to play. Now, if you're invitational, maybe 8 or 9 points, you take the fast route and bid your suit directly. And if you've got a game-forcing hand, you also take the fast route, but with an even stronger bid, like a qui bid of their suit, or just jumping straight to game. So here's the bottom line, the simple rule of thumb. If you're weak, you take the slow, scenic route through 2NT. If you're stronger, invitational, or better, you hit the expressway and bid directly. It's a really clean way to tell your partner if you're just looking for a safe spot or if you're ready to put the pedal to the metal. Okay, so before you get all excited and rush out to try this at your next game, there's one really important thing you have to remember. Lebensohl is a partnership convention. You and your partner have to be on the exact same page, where you're just going to make the confusion even worse. And trust me on this one, you do not want to be that person who bids 2NT thinking it's Lebensohl when your partner has absolutely no idea what you're doing. It's a recipe for disaster. So before you play, just take 5 minutes and go over this checklist together.
All right, here are the 5 key things you got to agree on. First, are we playing this after an NT overcall, not just an opening? Most pairs do, but you should confirm. Second, what do direct bids at the 3 level mean? Are they invitational or are they forcing? The standard is invitational or better. Get clear on that. Third, do our weak hands always go through 2NT? The answer here really should be yes. It keeps things simple. Fourth, what about over-doubled weak 2 bids? This one is a bit more advanced and optional, so just decide if you're comfortable with it. And finally, number 5, the big one. Do we both agree that the slow route shows a stopper and the fast route denies one? This is the one that's completely non-negotiable.
Look, when you and your partner are in sync on this, it's like you're speaking a secret language at the table. You can take what was a chaotic, ambiguous mess of a bidding sequence and turn it into a beautiful, logical conversation. You can describe your hand with a level of detail that will absolutely leave your opponents scratching their heads.
So there you have it. That's the power of Lebensohl. It is a fantastic tool that can completely transform your bidding and take your partnership to a whole new level. So, what are you waiting for? Get out there, discuss it with your partner, and start solving those bidding problems.
But wait, that standard sequence, that's just the beginning. The real power of this convention comes when you realize Lebensohl is actually a whole family of related ideas, and each one of them is a specialized tool for a different kind of bidding problem.
Yeah, the system really builds from here. So beyond the standard version we just covered, you've got reverse Lebensohl, Rubensohl, and even transfer Lebensohl. Every single one takes that core 2NT relay idea and just cleverly adapts it for a slightly different situation.
It's all about context. Standard Lebensohl is your tool for dealing with opponent interference. Reversed Lebensohl, on the other hand, is an internal partnership tool. You use it after your partner makes a reverse, which is a very strong space-eating bid showing extra strength. It helps you clarify your own hand without letting the whole auction get completely out of control.
Now, Lebensohl is another really clever adaptation. It's specifically designed for when an opponent jumps in with a weak two bid, that preemptive bid showing a long suit but not many points. Lebensohl helps you sort out your hand and compete way more effectively against that super common disruptive tactic.
And this just shows you how flexible the system can be. Transfer Lebensohl literally combines the 2NT relay with the power of transfer bids. So what that means is after your partner makes that force 3 club response, you can use a transfer to show your major suit with incredible efficiency. It's really like getting the best of both worlds.
Okay, let's just recap the whole toolkit then. You've got standard for handling those pesky 1NT overcalls. You've got reversed for clarifying your own partnership's strong auctions. There's Lebensohl to fight back against weak twos, and transfer Lebensohl for the ultimate precision. See, each one is a specialized tool for a very specific job.
All right. Now, like any really powerful tool, you got to know how to use it right. A simple misunderstanding can lead to a complete disaster. So let's quickly go over the user manual and talk about the most common mistakes players make.
Let's just focus on the 2 biggest traps. The first one, and this happens all the time, is your partner forgets that 2NT is artificial. They might think you actually want to play no trump and pass. That could be an absolute catastrophe. The second one is misusing direct bids. Jumping straight to 3 of a suit without going through Lebensohl first is a strong game-forcing bid. If you do that with a weak hand, you're going to get your partnership way, way too high. These 2 mistakes can totally blow up your auction.
The 2NT bid is a command. It is a relay. It is not an invitation to play in no trump. Just burn that into your brain and I promise you will avoid 90% of the potential disasters.
So, when you put this all together and you know how to avoid those pitfalls, Lebensohl stops being just another convention you memorized. It becomes a genuine superpower at the bridge table. It completely changes the dynamic of competitive auctions.
That moment of weakness and total confusion, that bidding squeeze we talked about, is now completely transformed. Lebensohl gives you the structure and the vocabulary you need to turn that interference into an opportunity to describe your hand with pinpoint accuracy. You're not guessing anymore, you're actually communicating.
Okay, so now that we know about Lebensohl, let's head back to the Bridge and Biscotti Club and see how our 2 teams actually handled this exact same problem.
Now let's zoom in on one specific table. We'll call it Room A, because this is where our puzzle is about to happen. We've got Bartek, who's known for his clever plays, partnered up with the cool and collected Marjorie. And they're up against George, a really experienced player, and his partner Mildred's.
So the players pick up their hands, and right away, the game throws a wrench in the works. It's one of those moments, where a single bid could end up deciding the entire match.
Okay, so check this out. Marjorie, sitting south, opens the bidding with 1 no trump. This tells everyone she has a really strong, balanced hand. But before her partner can even say a word, George, in the west seat, jumps right in with a 2 heart bid. He is deliberately trying to jam their communications from the get-go.
Now, George's 2 heart bid isn't really about hearts. He's using a specific tool called the Cappelletti convention. It's basically a special code that tells his partner, hey, I have at least 4 hearts and 4 cards in one of the minor suits. It's a strategic move meant to just muddy the waters for his opponents.
And this brings us right to the man of the hour, Bartek, sitting north. He's looking at a really weird hand. On the one hand, it's pretty weak, only 7 points. But on the other hand, he's holding this monster 7-card diamond suit. George's interference has just made it incredibly tricky for him to describe this awkward hand to Marjorie.
So what's his move? I mean, a wrong bid here could send them into a complete disaster of a contract, but passing might mean they miss their best spot entirely. The pressure is on. What would you do here?
Now, to really understand the genius of what Bartek does next, we need to hit the pause button on the game. We're going to open up the bridge player's special toolkit and pull out a convention that was designed for exactly this kind of messy situation. It's called Lebensohl.
All right, so Bartek looks at his weak hand with all those diamonds and he chooses the slow path. He bids 2 no trump. This is the absolute key. It's a signal to Marjorie that says, partner, hold on, I need to tell you something, but I've got to use our special code. Marjorie now has to bid 3 clubs, and the floor is back to Bartek to finish his message. So after Marjorie's forced 3-club bid, Bartek has this whole menu of options, and each one has a very specific meaning. If he bids his diamonds now at the 3 level, it means, I'm weak, I want to stop here.
If you were to bid the opponent's suit 3 hearts, that's a special bid that says we have to go to game, but just so you know, I do not have a heart stopper. And a bid of 3 no trump would promise that stopper.
So Bartek runs through the logic. My hand is weak. Check. I have a fantastic diamond suit. Check. And I absolutely do not have a stopper in their heart suit. Game is definitely out. He's got to communicate all of this information in just one bid. And the best way to do that is with a weak sign-off.
And so he makes his choice. With all the groundwork laid by that 2-no trump relay bid, he now calmly bids 3 diamonds. It's perfect. It's the most precise description of his hand, telling Marjorie everything. Partner, I'm weak, my suit is diamonds, let's just play there and be safe. And just like that, Bartek has solved the puzzle. He navigated that messy interference and described his hand perfectly. So now let's watch how this incredible precision leads to a fantastic result for his team.
So here's how the whole thing played out. After Bartek's 3-diamond bid, Marjorie, who happens to have great support for diamonds, raises to 4 diamonds. And with that super long suit, Bartek knows they have a great fit and takes them to the final contract of 5 diamonds. Just a beautiful sequence, and it was only possible because of that initial 2-no trump Lebensohl bid.
And the result? Oh, they make their contract without even breaking a sweat. That's a score of plus 400 points. A massive pickup for Team 2, and it's all thanks to expert communication when things got tough.
So what started out as this tricky, confusing problem turned into a simple, successful contract. It was a huge win for them, and it just goes to show how having a shared system like Lebensohl can turn an opponent's defensive move into a golden opportunity for your side. And that, really, is the beauty of this game. The cards you're dealt, that's just the stage. It's the tools in your toolkit, the decisions you make, and the special language you share with your partner that end up determining the final result. But now, let's pop over to Room B.
Okay, take a look. Here are all 4 hands on the table. We're focusing on Robert and Tom, our north-south pair. And you can see they have a fantastic spade fit, and they definitely have the points for game. The whole challenge here is just going to be communicating that after the opponents get in the way.
So the auction begins, and it starts out just like you'd expect. Tom, sitting south, opens a standard 1-no trump. But then, West immediately interferes with a 2-heart bid. And just like that, all the pressure is squarely on Robert, up in the north seat. I mean, he's got a pretty good hand, but this auction just got way more complicated. And right here, this is the puzzle. Take another look at Robert's hand. He's got a nice 4-card spade suit he really wants to tell Tom about. But look at his hearts. He's only got that singleton jack. He absolutely 100% does not have a heart stopper. Playing in 3-no trump would be a complete disaster. So the question is, how does he show his spades and, at the very same time, warn his partner about that big weakness in hearts? So what does Robert do? He makes a bid that, to anyone who doesn't know the code, might look really strange. He bids 3 hearts. Yeah, he bids the opponent's suit. But using the Lebensohl code, this is a perfect, totally precise message. Remember our rule? Direct denies. Because this is a direct bid at the 3 level, it screams to his partner, hey Tom, I've got spades, but I absolutely positively deny a stopper in hearts. See how that works?
If he did have a heartstopper, he would have taken the slow route with 2 no-trump first, the slow show.
And Tom, of course, is a good partner. He knows the code, so he hears that 3-heart bid, and boom, he immediately gets the entire picture. He knows 2 things for sure. They have a spade fit, and he shouldn't even think about playing a no-trump. The communication, a total success.
And just look how smoothly the rest of the auction goes because of that. Tom gets the message loud and clear, so he bids 3 spades, confirming their beautiful 8-card fit, and with that fit confirmed, Robert can just confidently bid 4 spades, and that's the final contract. It's beautiful. No guesswork, 0 confusion.
And the result of all this great communication? A very nice score of 450 points. They didn't just get to the right game contract, they even made an over trick. I mean, this just brilliantly shows you the power of precise communication when the auction gets tough.
So the payoff here is just crystal clear, right? What started out as this messy problem auction was made totally simple by using Lebensohl. That critical piece of information, the stopper issue, was sent and received perfectly, and that let them find their golden spade fit and bid a game that wasn't just makeable, it was easy. Now that's the power of having a good system with your partner.
At the end of the day, Lebensohl turns what could have been a total disaster into a triumph. It does that by giving you and your partner a shared language for when the pressure is on. It's such a great reminder that in bridge, the absolute best partnerships are built on these clear, coded conversations. So here we are, 2 teams, 2 different auctions, and 2 different contracts. 5 diamonds versus 4 spades. It is time for the post-mortem. Let's put these results side by side and see who really made the winning decision.
And the result? Team 1, Robert and Tom, they win by 2 IMPs. IMPs are just how you keep score in these matches, and that little number tells the entire story. Their choice to bid 4 spades was absolutely the winning strategy.
But hold on a second. How is that even possible? How can a contract at the 4 level end up scoring more points than one at the 5 level? That seems completely backwards, right?
Well, this table breaks it all down. First off, look at this. Both teams actually won the exact same number of tricks, 11. But check out the final scores. Team 2 in 5 diamonds gets 400 points. Team 1 in 4 spades gets 450. Why? Well, contracts in major suits like spades just score more, and they also picked up a bonus for making an extra trick. And look at this row, heart control. It was a massive weakness for the diamond contract, but for the spade contract, totally irrelevant. The quality difference is just night and day.
Which kind of leaves us with one last thought. Yeah, this was a story about a card game, but the lesson here is pretty universal, isn't it? A tiny, precise piece of information can totally change an outcome. It makes you wonder, what's the hidden strategy in your own daily communications? And what better outcomes are just one clarifying question away?
Subscribe our channel for more videos.